What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including: is Grayson working with Bray Wyatt? Another huge WWE return? Roman Reigns can't fight, says Jimmy Smith. Several free agents. CM Punk has an office job. Braun Strowman reacts to Bray Wyatt's return, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel. Incredible! And now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at Bray Wyatt fever. At top of today's news is the ongoing buzz following Bray Wyatt's epic return at Extreme Rules. Although it's too early to tell what's next for Wyatt, there's already plenty of speculation. For example, tonight's Raw season premiere could see Wyatt show up. The Bloodline is also scheduled to show up on the Red brand, as are D-Generation X. Wyatt has just come back, so it wouldn't make sense to have him interact with the Bloodline or D-Generation X since there's no payoff. Still, fans have to be asking what he'll do and if he does show up. There's also the question of whether Wyatt is coming alone. As we're about to see, Wyatt may have at least one wrestler already working for him. As next up is Grayson working with Bray Wyatt. NXT superstar Grayson seems busy battling Apollo Crews on the Black and Gold brand, but a recent video suggests Waller could be affiliated with Bray Wyatt. Waller recently cut a promo posted on Twitter where the Australian antagonist badmouths Crews. Ringside News noted the following teaser during the video clip. During the video, at the 28-second mark, a quick background shot of one of Wyatt's lanterns that resembles a disembodied head. Now, you may recall that one of last week's White Rabbit QR codes hinted at NXT star Joe Gacy's possible involvement in the mystery, and now some fans and pundits are speculating that Wyatt is assembling a group of wrestlers which have been nicknamed the Wyatt Six to portray the characters from the Firefly Funhouse. Could Waller be one of them? Well, be sure to look out for a video tonight. But if Waller joins Wyatt, does that mean he'll be wrestling as a Wyatt character on NXT and on the main roster? There are many questions that remain unanswered, but fans are certainly excited about what's coming next. Next up, another huge WWE return. Yeah, another one. Our PW Insiders reporting that the Good Brothers of Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are returning to WWE. Now, this has been rumored for some time, and it finally looks like it's actually happening. This could potentially lead to the duo returning to help AJ Styles in his ongoing feud with the Judgment Day. Now, if you remember right, the Good Brothers were released from WWE in 2020 and seemingly distanced themselves from the company completely. Are you guys happy they're returning? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Saraya never talked to WWE about wrestling again. Saraya debuted in AEW, but fans are curious why the former WWE superstar never discussed wrestling in the WWE when she was there. Saraya, who enjoyed plenty of success as Paige saw her career cut short due to a neck injury, but she's been training for a comeback for some time. While she stated before that the WWE said it has no roles for her, she seems to have plenty to do in AEW, including stepping back into the ring. She discussed things on her Twitch stream saying, "We never had that discussion. I never had that discussion with WWE because they let me go. I've been working years to better myself and be healthier and stronger. Me, mentally, I've never brought it up because I had this mental block. I want to be as safe as possible. I know what my body can do." If the stories of WWE reaching out to Saraya after a WWE contract expired this July are true, it doesn't make sense why she wouldn't approach the subject with a new management team. Paige wasn't clear about whether she talked to anyone in the WWE about wrestling once her contract ended. During a stream, she said she signed with AEW about 2 weeks before her debut. Me and WWE never had that discussion about having a match. I never brought it up to them about me potentially wrestling. If I was to talk to them about it, I'm sure they would do the research. I wasn't mentally ready. It still makes me nervous, but I'm way smarter about it. I know what I can and can't do. I'm not expecting to do 6 German suplexes off the top. I'm not that wrestler anyway. Wrestlers have been known to change their style following significant injuries and or wear and tear on their bodies. For example, legendary Japanese wrestler Mitsuharu Misawa, who previously worked the high-flying style as the second Tiger Mask, changed to a more ground-based style. It's possible Paige could do something similar, but Misawa's career is a cautionary tale, as it's believed the culmination of injuries he took ultimately caught up with him when he took a back suplex during the match and never got back up. Hopefully Saraya is okay to wrestle, and she truly knows her limitations. Next up, Jimmy Smith questions Roman Reigns' fighting skills. A former MMA fighter and broadcaster Jimmy Smith has something to say about current undisputed champion Roman Reigns, and it may upset the Tribal Chiefs fans. Smith discussed Reigns on MMA Sirius XM, assessing the head of the table. Does this guy look like he can fight? This is what the WWE is about. Roman Reigns can't fight. He looks like he can fight. he's just a big muscular dude. Smith, who worked as an announcer on Raw for nearly a year and a half, was recently released when the WWE decided to change up its announce teams on Raw, SmackDown and NXT. Is Smith being bitter over his release, or is he just sharing his opinion, an opinion he may be unable to make while collecting a WWE paycheck? While the WWE likes its wrestlers to look like they can fight, the WWE is all about work matches that look spectacular and entertain the fans. So far, they seem very happy with Reigns' talent at doing this, regardless of how long he'd last in an MMA match. Next up, several Impact stars are now free agents. It looks like Triple H will have another chance to break out the checkbook, as there appears to be several Impact Wrestling stars who are now free agents. PW Insider reports that Mike Taven, Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis, and Vincent Marseglia are now finished working for Impact. It's unknown when they're available to wrestle elsewhere, but based on what fans have seen of the game bringing back superstars who fizzled under Vince McMahon, could Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis be headed back to Titanland? Next up, Ronda Rousey wants to take over WWE with Shayna Baszler. Ronda Rousey is a SmackDown Women's Champion after choking out Liv Morgan at Extreme Rules, but Rowdy Ronda has bigger plans. She discussed her future plans during an episode of her baddest stream on the planet show, saying, Shayna Baszler, let's go, let's take this shit over. Well then I guess we'll just have to do like the best match ever to solve it. You know what would have been even better? If all 4 horsewomen were in the WWE and they let us work together. The WWE seemed to tease a Rousey-Baszler alliance following Baszler's defeat to Liv Morgan, but nothing came of it. Ronda also speculated about what might happen if her friends from the MMA version of the 4 horsewomen showed up. Would you guys like to see Ronda and Shayna join forces? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, CM Punk now has an office job. Is CM Punk still working in AEW? Well, you won't believe the answer when we tell you what AEW President Tony Khan explained the AEW creative process during an interview with Ariel Helwani. As interesting as the description was, listen to the tail end of the quote. I'll come with an outline and I'll sit down with Tony Schiavone, QT Marshall, a couple of people backstage. Sanjay Dutt has become really valuable. Then there's a lot of people throughout the years that you'd go to whatever their stuff is. I think there's specific people, if they're not working in an office job per se like Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and of course even people who are working in office jobs like Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and CM Punk. As the wrestling world continues to talk about the reported backstage brawl between Punk, Ace Steel and the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, this latest twist is certain to have people talking. Sadly, Tony didn't say what office jobs involved, such as whether Punk is getting coffee for AEW executives or the Young Bucks are making copies. Despite his nickname The Cleaner, something tells us Omega isn't sweeping any floors. Next up, WWE quietly removed faction member. A Legado del Fantasma debuted during SmackDown's season premiere, but where was the faction members Elektra Lopez? Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza made their blue brand debut, taking out Hit Row. However, Lopez was nowhere to be found and Zelina Vega joined them in the beatdown of Hit Row. Earlier that day, PW Insider's Mike Johnson reported WWE were making changes to Legado del Fantasma when they made their main roster debut on Friday Night SmackDown. Several sources have confirmed that the company's initial plans to include Elektra Lopez with the group when they go to SmackDown have been dropped. Lopez was originally slated to be at TV tonight, but we're told that over the last 24 hours, creative changed and she's not in MA. The move shocked fans since all 4 members of the faction exited NXT together in a vignette, but Lopez now appears to have been dropped. Meltzer discussed this on the Wrestling Observer Radio, saying Lopez was believed to be making the jump to SmackDown, but that WWE changed their mind. Hopefully they have a valid reason for dropping Lopez and replacing Oed Vega, and that this wasn't a knee-jerk reaction reminiscent of Vince McMahon's booking. As we noted in our analysis of SmackDown's season premiere, the WWE could work an angle where Lopez shows up and challenges Vega's spot in the group. And finally, Braun Strowman reacts to Bray Wyatt's return. And last but not least, Bray Wyatt's Extreme Rules return was reportedly well received backstage, but how did Bray's former Wyatt family member Braun Strowman feel? Strowman tweeted, "I love when people have been through hell walk out of the flames carrying buckets of water for those still consumed by the fire." It's unknown whether Strowman and Wyatt's paths will cross anytime soon, as the WWE seems to be setting things up for an Omos and Strowman program. Well, there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.